Welcome to All In Uncensored with Ryan and Brian.
You know where we're at today? We're in the studio again.
Woo! We got a special guest today.
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah.
Brian Taylor, welcome to the show.
Right? Hey, what can I say? I love being here. No, Ryan and I have been talking about this for a long time, and we could not wait to get this young man into our studio, and we couldn't be more excited to be partnering with him. Ryan, want to introduce him?
David Sletmold.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm David Sletmold. I have been taking examinations, working on becoming a mortgage loan originator in Washington State for about the past month and a half, and it has been a wonderful journey, which has been heralded and just accompanied beautifully by these two, Ryan and Brian. So I am just delighted to be here.
Let's go back to day one when we met.
Yes.
Pretty funny story.
Yeah.
Brian, tell your side of the story.
Okay, this is my side of the story. So I'm really good friends with David's mom. We go way back as referral partners. We were in Toastmasters together quite a while ago. And I get a call out of the blue one day from her. She goes, "Hey, I would love for you to meet my son. He's looking to network just to grow his network so he can get out there and get introductions to people that could potentially help him out with career opportunities." I'm like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's have him call me. We'll schedule a meeting." So David reached out to me via text, and then I said, "Ryan, you should come too. Let's go." So we met over at the Ebony and Ivory coffee shop. Yep, on Broadway there. And never even talked to David. It was all through text, which this is going to be a fun story for the Gen Z and millennial generation.
Yeah.
We meet David at the coffee shop. We just start asking him questions about what he's looking to do. And I said, "Hey, my old insurance agency manager is having an event. You should plug into that," because at the time he was looking to become a CSR in insurance, from my understanding. And perfect opportunity. The stars aligned. There's this opportunity for him to go potentially interview for 2 different job positions, just like that.
Yeah.
And that turned into, "Hey, David, why don't you come and check out our office?" Which turned into, he goes, "I want to work with you guys." And we're like, "Huh?"
Totally unexpected.
Totally unexpected. Like,
I mean, I think it's sitting down and seeing people for the first time, and I think a lot of Gen Z can relate to this. There's so much work that's very dispassionate, and you do it for money, and there is no other reason. And I cannot tell the two of you how inspirational it is to see 2 people who are actually passionate about helping people, and being able to do it in an industry that is incredibly there's so much growth opportunity. There's so much. I was staring all of that in the face and looking at the systems that you two are bringing online in the next year, in the next month. I couldn't be more than I couldn't be happier. I honestly wanted to keep talking to the 2 of you, if only because I wanted to know more about what personal growth looks like. So I, again, I'm so happy to be here.
It was great. Our 30 to 45 minute coffee that I thought that we were going to be in turned into a
2 hours. What?
Yeah, 2 or 3 hour session.
awesome.
Come up to the office, and by the end of it, you're like, "I want to work for you guys." And Brian and I kind of look at each other. We're like
high-fiving.
Okay.
Like, "Oh, yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is UWM, who is one of our biggest lenders that we use, just came out with a new program.
Oh yeah.
It's called BrokerX. And we didn't even know anything about it really, but we dove in as soon as David said he wanted to be a part of the team and figured out what BrokerX was. And BrokerX, in a nutshell, is a 4-week, well, it's 5 weeks, but 4 weeks online training, correct me if I'm wrong, that teaches you basically you go from 0 to passing your test in 4 weeks. So it's 4 weeks online just to teach you how to pass your test.
To get all the clock hours needed to be able to go qualify to take the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with lending, day-to-day actions, anything like that. It's just to pass your test.
Mortgage school.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And then they send you to Detroit.
Yep. And that's the part that everyone started asking questions about immediately. When you walk into that orientation, you log into it online, they're just like, "Oh, when are we going to Detroit? How does that work? How do we get it?" And I'm just like, let's everyone slow down. Let's pass our tests first. But how excited I am, because I haven't gone to that yet. And listening back to this will be very fun, because I know to expect a lot, but I don't know exactly what's going to be there. I know I'm going to be impressed, but exactly what's going to stick with me and how, that'll be something I'd be delighted to come back on and talk about at some future point, because this is No, going to UWM, I know they have a just absolutely massive campus, but I don't have any stats on exactly how large.
We'll let you figure that out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give some great anecdotes later.
So today is Friday. This show will drop next Friday.
Yep.
And as of next Friday, you'll be flying home from there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it'll be interesting to get your feedback after you come back on what your thoughts were of the campus and the training and everything.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on the training so far?
I have found that the online services that were given to me were, to be honest, stellar. For reference, I come from a background of actually zero knowledge about mortgage loan origination. I was in a class with people who were registered, worked as processors, worked in insurance, worked as investigators. One guy was an investigator for loan officers, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I came in with nothing and ended up passing the exam first try. I think you just have to take it seriously, but it is possible. And I think BrokerX is a program that honestly everyone should be considering. Do I have someone that would benefit from this? Every loan officer should be looking at people that they want to mentor and just say, you seem like a good fit. And because I know that if you're driven, BrokerX is such a good fit for so many people. And I think that it's important to get young people into this industry. I was looking at, I think, average age. I think we've had a conversation about this a few times. Average age appears to be 44 based on 2023 for this industry. And I'm almost half that. So we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah.
You're sitting here at half of our age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is.
That means we're old.
It does mean we're old.
Damn it.
How does that feel?
You know what? Feels great.
Yeah.
I've been in the business for 20 years. Brian, you've been in the business for 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Well, 2005 is when I started in the mortgage business, so pretty close to 20 years.
Wow.
But we broke out a year and a half ago, and now we're building something that we've always talked about building and growing. And we're growing organically. Like, we never thought we were going to come across David.
Yeah.
He asked us.
I would take an entire office full of Davids.
He asked us what he could do. This is day one. What can I do to start helping my business? We said, well, make some appointments with, I don't know, real estate agents, or, talk to your mom because she's been in the business for so long. David came back to us a week later. He's like, well, I've already met with a couple and talked to my mom, and I'm ready to go.
I think he said, I already met 15 agents. I went to open houses, got cards.
Well, that's what you do. Again, the funniest thing about open houses, they're locked in the house. They can't leave. Come up and harass them.
So this is what's so cool from my perspective. The fact that you have no preconceived notions of what this industry is other than what you've heard from your mom, what you've read about online, and maybe what you've seen on other podcast shows. But you are starting with a clean slate. You have no frame of reference. You haven't seen any market cycles. You are just getting into it brand new with an amazing work ethic and a ton of energy. You have a lot of intangibles that, quite frankly, probably 80 to 90% of the loan officers don't have.
Yeah.
And loan officers, in my opinion, and Ryan would probably agree, are lazy people. Loan officers are, generally speaking, lazy people.
100%.
Yes.
Look, I'm one of them.
Me too.
Absolutely.
The other ironic thing, so Ryan and I, we're Miracle Morning, we're getting the office at 7:30. David shows up at 7:25.
Son of a bitch. Now we have to be in here.
Yeah.
And our goal is to be in here before him.
Yeah. So we're not getting punked every day.
Yeah. Can't get punked by the 24-year-old kid that doesn't know anything about the business, but he's in here, and it's so cool having you in here.
Yes.
Our office is not big. What is it, 12 by 15, something like that.
Yeah.
We shoved another desk in here and the studio. So everything's in one area.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is David's in here. He's learning more online. He's listening to us talk to each other. He's listening to us talk to clients. And he's just soaking everything in. And it's so fun to watch.
And we're able to pull him in. Hey, check out what I'm doing here. This is what we're going through. Here's why we're doing it. So just your willingness to show up every day and get 1% better every day, dude,
you're making us 100% better every day.
Everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, the goal is, like you said, that 1% better every day, but it's trying to prepare myself best for. I'm waiting on certain like government deadlines. I'm waiting on certain like my license to be fully pushed through, and it's okay. How can I prepare in the meantime? What can I still do to move myself forward without ever misrepresenting myself or ever talking to someone like behaving in a way that I shouldn't quite yet. I think what matters is, okay, how do I prepare for that growth? What are some systems I can put in place? And what are some personal habits I can work on? You mentioned Miracle Morning. I've tried to get a little bit better at that. My mornings previous to this position, so disorganized. I still started work at 7:30 remote, but man, it was me flopping out of bed at 7:25. Now I feel like I'm getting up at 5:30. I'm trying to figure out what meditative things work best for me. I can highly recommend Miracle Morning, lovely book, but yeah, I don't know. I come here and listening to you two work and talk and the tone that I can take, it's so natural and so real. And it's one of the other things that inspires me. I think that there's some talk in this industry of something called commission breath. That sort of idea of just like selling to someone and viewing clients and not as someone you can serve, but as someone you can financially benefit from. And I think that's when you lose me. That's when you lose, I think, a lot of people, not even to mention clients. So I went out coming here and hearing people that are just genuine and kind and want to help. It impresses me. Again, yeah, going back to a previous thing I said, but actually, here, you go for it.
Well, that means a lot to us.
Yeah.
I mean, for an outsider coming in who didn't know us from anybody, and for you to come in and say, I mean, just day one, that you were excited to work with us means a lot to us and what we're trying to build. It just reinforces everything that we've been trying to work on.
Yeah, you've given us a lot of validation on the ideas that Ryan and I and Chris have kind of come together on, and
exactly.
The culture we want to build, the foundational principles. What first and foremost is servant's heart and servant leadership.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got to have that mindset. That's just, there's no other way to be, in my opinion.
Yeah,
being in transactional sales and, like you're saying, having commission breath, you're not serving anybody but yourself. And what good is that?
Yeah, what kind of life is that? Look long term, long scale. Look back on like 30 years at 60. How have I been? What have I been doing? Well, not much. You've managed to get money from people, but what long time relationships have you built? How have you helped your community? What can you smile back and truly say, I did some good? Yeah. I think it's a lot easier if you take the approach you two are taking.
Ryan and I have talked about this too, and Ryan, you can chime in on this. Ryan and I have internally said, hey, I want to have 1 month where I hit 10 million in loan volume, just as like a big, way out there moonshot goal.
Sure.
Not that we need to do 10 million a month in volume, but when you're talking about the elite of the elite, and for production, that's what those elite loan officers do. They do 10 million a month or more in volume.
Yeah.
And so Ryan and I have kind of pushing each other towards that. But now I've kind of flipped, now that we're growing a team, if I never do 10 million, I'll be totally happy with that. I'd rather empower you to do 10 million, because then I know that I'm doing what I need to do, which is building the people around us up. That's wouldn't you agree, Ryan?
Well, absolutely. And strive to still do the 10 million, yes. But do 1.5 million, 2 million for our personal volume and give the other 8 million away. That's everything that we want to build. Yeah. We want to build lead generation systems that just continue to bring in business. We want to build social media avenues that bring in business, and not for our own personal growth, for the business personal growth for sure, but to grow others.
Yeah. I think that's how Ryan and I feel like that servant leadership thing, right? We want to help empower people like you to be able to not only make a living, but build generational wealth for your family and be able to reinvest that in real estate, and have this one thing that you're doing open up into 6 or 7 other things that create more opportunity for you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
My background specifically is in customer relations management, largely in the dealing of critical escalations or issues that were brought to me. I worked prior to joining up with these two. I worked as basically a glorified customer service agent in a way, but what I did was very important. There were a lot of people who had poor deliveries that were given to them, or just poor interactions with staff, and it was my job always to jump on with people who were anything from mournful to tired or irate, or just not at all willing to work with me, I managed to say, we want to help you. We can provide these services for you. I have a lot of experience on the phone and dealing with people that are just at the absolutely out of time, out of patience, sometimes even out of money, and just being able to say, hey, I want to collaborate with you on this and I want to get this solved. And the best, easiest ways we can do that.
So you've dealt with people at their worst.
I would say so. I think that I've dealt with people who heard my company name and immediately hated me. And I have to build up a relationship over 2-3 weeks of interacting with them. I have to build up a relationship of trust the absolute best I can. And I found a lot of success doing that. I think that it, again, comes from an area of being genuine, being real. You can disarm people who are opposed to you by showing a little bit more of yourself. It's risky and it feels risky, but you have to do it. Be genuine, be real. Otherwise, you're never going to get people really on your side. And I think that's what matters most. You want to talk about long-term growth in this industry, from everything I can tell, it's based on the personal relationships that you're able to hold on to. How do you do that? Well, it's not necessarily calling them and being like, hey, do you want to refinance every month? It's calling and saying, hey, how are you doing? Let me know if you need anything, if there's any way that I can serve you or others, and try and keep maybe that last part a little lower key, even if you want. But still, advertise yourself, but be with these people. Be genuine. You only have one life to live. Why not spend it collaborating and being sweet with others?
I couldn't have said it better.
Well said.
Yeah.
It was like, honestly, one of the other quotes when we
There you go.
storyboarding up on our all-in mortgage brokers blackboard up there, which is lead with kindness.
Yeah.
Be kind to others. And I think that's great, David.
Well, we've said over and over, lead with a servant's heart.
Yep.
And the way you just put that, it is that to the T.
Yeah. The other thing I'm excited about too is, I kind of want to get your take. So when we spoke to you that first day, you were kind of giving us some feedback on like concerns that your generation has about homeownership and affordability of homeownership. So can you speak to that a little bit, and then maybe collectively, as we like grow together, we can solve that problem together.
Yeah.
And have an optimistic spin on it.
I think that a lot of the issues with housing, especially in the United States, are just simply put, I think they're front end, when you talk about like debt to income ratio, that sort of thing, they're front end problems, housing payments themselves, right? I currently live with 3 other people. It's a not a bad house, but the rent payment on it, we're lucky that it's kind of as cheap as it is. When you look around other houses in metropolitan areas in Washington State, I mean, you end up with like housing expenses that can hit $3,000 a month, and with mortgages, perhaps mortgage insurance, you have homeowners insurance, property taxes, all of that. It's easy to hit $3,000 a month payment, and that
Or 4 or 5.
Yeah. What is the average income in the United States at this point? Somewhere around like average yearly income, somewhere around like 54, like I don't know, like 54,000 was like an average salary. I remember reading that once. But even if you look at that ratio, one person buying a home seems almost like very unattainable for a large part of America. And Gen Z, when we're just starting out, we don't have these careers to fall back on that would give us salaries through years of experience. And talking about like the automated job hunting market, all of these feed into concerns that, simply put, housing is almost too expensive for Gen Z. And it's really easy, I think, to fall into that line of thinking from a numbers perspective without a lending perspective, without being able to see it from what you guys see.
Well, if you're talking about housing in general, the affordability factor is at its worst level of all time.
Yeah.
And that includes the early 80s when rates were at 16, 17, 18%. Mm-hmm. Housing affordability is a problem. Up until a couple of years ago, the average age of a person buying a home was 28. It's now like 35 or 36.
There you go.
Like it flipped on its head in just a few short years. And it's cool to have you in here. we're working on marketing stuff, and we're working on, different ads and stuff like that to throw out for lead generation.
And really honing in that messaging. You know what I mean?
Having your input as a Gen Zer is pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Because Ryan and I, we're the middle generation. We're the ones everybody forgets about still at 48 years old. We're Gen X.
Our parents forgot about us.
Our parents forgot about us.
Look, they just let us out.
Forgot about us. Like we're caught between the boomers and the millennials and Gen Zers.
Here's how much our parents forgot about us.
Mm-hmm.
The 11 o'clock news had a thing on it every night that said, "Don't forget about your kids." I can't remember exactly what it said.
Didn't.
It said, "Make sure your kids are inside," or something like that. There was a message on the 11 o'clock news to remind parents that their kids are possibly still out.
Is he serious?
Oh yeah.
You don't know? You don't know where they are?
I said, oh yeah.
No, I mean like, but the parents just don't know.
Dude, when we were kids, we got thrown outside and come back for dinner maybe, but just be home before dark or at dark.
So we lived in like a little rural area outside of the main city in Albany, Oregon. And like farmland around our little 70s neighborhood, right? And we would listen for my dad's whistle. We knew his whistle, and we'd be like a street over. Yeah. And my dad would go like that, and we'd be like, okay, it's time to go home for dinner, and we'd ride our bikes home.
My parents bought a big bell. It was probably 12 inches across on the bottom, and it was on our back patio. And my parents would ring that for dinner, and I could hear it from 3 blocks away. And it was like, oh, dinner time, or time to go in, or my parents need me, because all my friends were usually within about a three block radius, and I could hear that thing from all my friends' houses.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
But the part that we're excited about is
we went off on a tangent.
Enough about the Liberty Bell and whistling.
Yeah, we're just the forgotten guys, whatever.
Yeah.
No, but getting the perspective of your peers and you. I mean, like we asked David to just poll a couple of his friends about their thoughts and views around homeownership, and like he turned this, hey, we can like make a total survey out of this and create all these data points. Like again, that speaks to who you are and how motivated you are. You're like taking an idea we have and like 10xing it. Like, okay, this is what we can do with it. And so we're really excited for that perspective coming into this business. Like as much as we feel like we're pouring into you, I think Ryan and I feel like you're pouring into us with like all of your insight into your generation, which is huge because that's really the next generation of homeowners we really need to be serving right now is that millennial and Gen Z generation.
Yeah, the young millennials and the Gen Z generations are the next first-time home buyers for sure.
Yeah. And we've got to like dispel the myths. We've got to show them a path towards homeownership. Look, if I could go back and be 22 again buying my first home, I would do things way differently than I did.
I would buy a duplex.
I would buy a duplex as well.
I'd live in it for a year.
Yep.
And then I'd buy another duplex.
And I would keep doing that.
For about 5 or 6 years. Then you're going to have 10 units, then buy a house.
Yep.
And you have 10 doors as rentals. And by the time you retire at age, call it 60, 65, those are all paid off. And that is a great, great retirement program.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even with today's prices.
It still makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And especially your generation that have served in the military as we kind of niche down into VA. Mm-hmm. What a great opportunity to leverage that into even a 4-unit. I have a borrower right now looking at a 4-unit and potentially putting 0% down on that. And they'll be able to use the rents from the other 3 units to offset the mortgage payment. It becomes affordable for them.
Yeah.
Now they've got an investment property that they're living in.
Basically.
Yeah. So looking ahead, you've been on some trainings with the Hand That Feeds, which is in Ryan and I and our team, we're going to all be doing some training for some real estate agents. We got this training when we were down in Arizona and then got David on some Zoom calls with this.
Yeah.
And then also the Greatness Tracker. So having these 2 tools right away, you will leaps and bounds be way ahead of the curve from what we experienced early on in our careers. Yeah. We didn't have any guidance, nothing. It was like pat on the ass and say, okay, good luck, sink or swim in the next 90 days. Have at her.
No, it's powerful stuff. I think that there is an element to, these social interactions where you're talking to realtors, you're talking to title agents, talking to financial planners. And that social interaction is important. And being in the moment is important. And again, not viewing it like a financial transaction. All of this is so critical. But I think that there's so much to gain by taking these trackers and writing down actual qualitative information. Okay, how many people did I contact? How did I do this? I think that feeds your success too. It's not all just charisma or sheer force of personality. It's got to be the numbers too.
The numbers don't lie.
Tracking.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing in my own seat for the past day. I've been building out some trackers based on advice, stuff that I saw online, in addition to working on other licenses, that sort of thing. So I've been having a good time doing that, figuring out what are some critical things that I need to track, starting from a very small network and a very small database.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Well, David, we're ecstatic to have you. We can't wait to have you on this show more and more as you grow in your business.
Yeah.
You're starting right now, license is pending, not even licensed yet, already been pushing us. Ecstatic is a bar that is set too low. We are over the moon.
No, thank you both.
Yeah, we're excited. And the other thing I love too is that you're, as much as we're holding your feet to the fire with kind of systems and everything else, you're doing the same for us. If Ryan and I were left to our own devices, just a couple of Gen Xers not hearing the whistle, you're the whistle at the door for us, David.
Oh,
Your ass is going to be in here at 7:30 every morning.
I'm the foot diameter bell that's getting slammed on by,
Yeah, you really are.
This business has so many ups and downs, and Brian and I have always had great intentions of waking up at 5, doing the miracle morning, getting here at 7:30. Now you're holding our feet to that fire. Maybe not the 5 a.m. thing, which I have been waking up early, not quite 5 o'clock, but I've been here 7:30 every single day this week. Yeah. And if Brian and I were left to our own devices,
that would not happen.
That wouldn't happen.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
That would not happen. Yeah. So this is good for us too. So I'm excited. That's all I have to say.
I'm definitely ready to go all in. I'm beyond hyped. I just really want my licenses to go through, all of this to work out, and I can't wait to see UWM. The update, hello future David. I think the update after all of this is going to be quite a lot. I think by then I'm going to be licensed in at least one state, and I'm going to have all the experience I gained at UWM, and we're going to sit down and have a very different conversation about real, actual growth strategies for me, and probably how that's going to look moving forward. Get away from just the hype, keep it, but talk about the what, the how, and have a more. So you've done it. So you've just gotten into loan officer. Now what?
Yeah. So speaking of hello future David, let's just put you on the hot seat real quick.
Oh boy.
Future David, a year from now, we're going to look back on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to be in a year? What are a couple of your goals?
I think I'm going to shave this beard. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's sticking around, but I think that some of my goals, I want to put my best foot forward on. Oh, Brian, help me out. The title of that award is fastest growing loan officer
within UWM.
Yeah, for UWM. I really want to put my best foot forward there. I want to. I don't have. I think this is honestly a really good question, because I think that what I need. I was just talking about numbers. I think that what I have are a lot of goals on meeting people and meeting agents, but you both have boards up where you talk about the number of people that you've served, number of families that you've helped, homes that you've helped close on. I think for me, I want to get realistic about what am I shooting for? What does that look like? And what real behaviors exist on getting to those numerical goals.
Give me a number right now on how many families you want to help this year.
Oh God. I think a reasonable goal, a very reasonable one, is, and I think this might be too low, I do think it's going to be 20. I think 20 is a good goal, and it's something I want to shoot for, and I want to see if I can surpass and break that. That is going to be my main goal. I want to talk to a lot of agents. I want to get on the ground with as many people as I can, and I really, really want to get out there and start helping people in the homes.
I think that's a really solid goal.
Yeah.
I think it's a really solid goal for the floor of what your potential is.
You know,
you and I had
And a
this
lot
talk
of-
the other day.
A lot of that's on us too. Like,
Yeah.
we want to help you get to that goal.
right.
That this is for us as much as it is for you.
Yeah.
We feel like if we don't get you to that goal,
Then we have failed.
we fail.
Well, I think that my success is definitely a group effort. Like it is going to be, I'm going to be in here asking questions as often as I can, but every moment I'm not in here, I want to be spending it thinking about, okay, how do I grow my business? What is it? What are some behaviors I can take? Because I think hearing that, loan officers can be lazy, I get it. I see how and where it can come from. I can see why people can get complacent in this industry, but I have, if I start with any of those attitudes, it's already over. You already lose.
Look, every morning you wake up and look at yourself in the mirror,
Yeah.
you have to decide one of two things. Am I going to hire myself or fire myself?
Yeah.
So really the choice is yours. And this industry is all about being a self-starter, and you got to keep that fire burning all day long.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that is making sure you have the attitude that you're embracing the process and the activity of what you're doing. Don't focus on the money. The money will follow.
Yeah.
You got to focus on what you can control every day, and how are you spending every minute of your day?
Yeah.
Are you like maximizing, and are you making that the most efficient possible? So we talked about time blocking as a tool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this week, I didn't time block as well as I should have, and I told you this morning, I'm reacting to everything today instead of being proactive.
Right.
And that's my own damn fault because I didn't time block in my calendar accordingly.
Yeah.
So now I might have to look at myself in the mirror tonight and fire myself today. I don't know. I still have a half a day to go, but we'll see.
Right on. Well, Brian, wrap us up.
Wrap us up. David, I already said this. You're going to be Rookie of the Year. I can feel it. And I think you're going to help at least 40 families. You say 20, but
All right.
I know what I see in your potential, and with your drive and your acumen, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to help you get there.
If I am lucky enough to help 40 families through home ownership in this next year, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna send you. I
can give you some ideas on some bourbon I like.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that'll be great. I think bourbon's all around.
I don't have cheap taste either.
I
I
think no matter what, if I'm helping 40 families, I think that cheap taste won't the taste and the cost of it won't be as relevant. I think that it'll be so worth it at the end of the day. I want to help give back to the two of you, not just in like money or resources, but in time. You all want to help with my success, and that means the world to me. Anything I can do for the two of you, seriously.
Hell yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what today is?
It's another great day.
Let's go.
Amen.